Hi, and welcome to Transitional Changes Mission Podcast Show. This is your host, Queen Summers.
And King Summers.
We thank you for tuning in with us tonight. This is Sunday evening, actually. And this is one of the first shows that will be added with our other shows. So we have 2 shows now that will be airing on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and Sunday night at 6 p.m. And we thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please contact us at tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com.
And yes, my people, that would be very appreciated. We love the people and appreciate the people that has been listening to our show and participating in all the movements. We really appreciate that.
So what's the topic for tonight, King?
Materialism and youth obesity.
Oh, wow. Well, we've all been on various social media platforms and saw friends and associates and even family members endless pictures of cars and yachts and shoes and mansions and swimming pools and various vacations, which offers, after viewing, something that after you've seen a few dozen sometimes becomes disoriented and even distressing, leaving some with the notion that the pictures are, of course, intended to incite envy. They reek instead of desperation. The young men and women of 2020 seem lost in their designer clothes and dwarfed and dehumanized by their possessions, as if ownership has gone into reverse. What do you have to say about that?
I'm going to get a definition of materialism. Materialism, possession, and physical comfort is more important than spiritual value. That is the definition of it. Basically, it's saying you put materialistic things over spiritual things or friends, or this is the philosophy of it. The philosophy of it is that nothing exists except matter, and it is movements and modifications. So mass is catered to materialistic things that probably consist of some type of weight or form. That is what we are talking about is the accumulation or the want of those materialistic things, which leads to a lot of questions that we are going to ask to our audience. How do you value yourself? Or how do you look at yourself for attaining these things? How far will you go to get them? Or just listen to me or my queen wife give our advice and our opinions about how we look at materialistic things. The movement of this show is to enhance your knowledge about materialistic things or how you view it or how would you attain it. How does that fit into your lifestyle?
That's right. And materialism forces us into comparison with the possessions of others. A race both cruelly illustrated and crudely propelled by that toxic websites that are out there. There is no end to it. If you have 4 Rolexes while another person has 5, you're a Rolex short of contentment. The material pursuit of self-esteem reduces your self-esteem. So, looking back at this Black Friday that went along, the numbers as far as people shopping online and shopping in stores is a lot lower because it seems as if people are finally coming to a realization that these material possessions, they are limited. They're like, self-esteem boosters?
Yes, my queen. And that was something that I was wanting to touch up on. And it was this Black Friday. And hopefully everybody did a great budget and attained some things that they think they need in their lives or gifts to others.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Or not.
But we hope you didn't break the bank.
Yes. But materialism, you have to look at too the history of it, and I'm just going to touch on some of the knowledge that I look at or perceive it to how I am today, or the growth of me. Now, I'm not going to take away from the youth that I was. I do reflect back on the mentality that I had when I was a young man coming into young adulthood and things of that nature. And that mind state that I had is probably the same typical mind state that I prayed that by our show and some of the youth that's listening hit the brakes. But I know myself, some people was telling me and it was going out of one ear after another. That just was that endurance or the hypertension that I had that I wanted to get something. That is attained by being conditioned.
Right.
This society has been conditioned to the human race of status quo of what you have. And that is global. And not all places in the global atmosphere that there is materialistic things involved into their society. I mean, you can look on National Geographic any day and see some tribes that's living in the Amazon forest that don't know nothing about no TV, restrict any type of technology coming into their village.
And they have leaves as clothes.
Yes. But we might sit here and laugh about it, but look at the ways of their mentality, the harmony that village might have.
Right.
You can look at the harmony of how we are. And I'm not here to say that it's wrong or right. It's just that to me of growth, maturity, I have came to realize that I can't take none of this stuff with me.
Right. And I should emphasize that this is not about differences between rich and poor. The poor can be as susceptible to materialism as the rich. It is a general social affliction that is visited upon us by government policy, corporate strategy, the collapse of communities and civic life, and our just overall being in a system that is eating us from the inside out. And that's materialism. This is a dreadful mistake we are making, allowing ourselves to believe that having more money and more stuff enhances our well-being. It's a belief possessed not only by those poor, deluded people, but by almost every member of almost every government. Worldly ambition, material aspiration, perpetual growth, these are a formula for mass unhappiness.
Yes, my people. And society has conditioned people to be that way. And the more I go into my studies, is it wrong for society to be distracted? That's what I feel like. The more that I release my handle on attaining materialistic things, I started more returning back to myself. It helped me clear out what I call distractions, which is materialistic things or the way of obtaining things in this society. But at the same time, materialism for the human race looks like it gives the excitement out of life.
Right.
And sometimes I would say, and I send my condolences to a lot of people when I was growing up as a young man, people getting killed over some of those things, even to this day.
Right.
I would even say that with that, you see in Hollywood, the people that has done a good job in what they craft in, they are able to attain some more materialistic things than the other. But at the same time, I would say that on a spiritual level, that to me is a distraction to learning yourself. I always say to a lot of people that it will take a lifetime to go from the internal organs that you have to learn them. If you're not a doctor or want to be interested in those organs and what they does, that's why sometimes I think that you got to go to school for a long period of time to learn all these different avenues of what's inside your body. Then you have that external things that's of your distance of a force field that you walk around in. And that to me is energy. That can take a lifetime. Martial arts touch on that. Yoda touch on that, and Buddhism. Buddhism to me is a great avenue of a spiritual journey. It's not a religion, but when I did the studies of it, it makes a lot of sense to me. It says that a person that wants to attain rewards is obtaining that reward for the reality that they live in. And it is somewhat the reality that you will be stuck in, even in this realm or out of this realm. And it says that by attaining more rewards to yourself, it will be more harder for you to escape the wheel of life. Meaning that times recycle, and the more that you learn in this cycle, you might reincarnate back and try again and keep trying again repeatedly until you get the ultimate goal that most religions says that a person needs to attain in life, and that's ultimate unconditional love.
All right. An impressive body of psychological research seems to support these feelings. It suggests that materialism, a trait that can afflict both rich and poor, and which the researchers define as a value system that is preoccupied with possessions and the social image they project, is both socially destructive and self-destructive. It smashes the happiness and peace of mind of those who succumb to it. It's associated with anxiety, depression, and broken relationships. And if you are experiencing this or any one of these associations with materialism, we have an array of numbers available on our website at transitionalchangesmission.wordpress.com. Look at our blog and scroll down to helpful numbers.
Yes, my people. And that's one reason why we came up with this topic to discuss current events. Current events in 2020 has been changed by a pandemic. But the negative of the pandemic, there always is something good within that pandemic. And as we're experiencing these different pandemic emotions that is catering or hindering our life from doing what we was used to doing. As I look back at it, it has slowed down life for a lot of people, and a lot of people might be upset about that or have misunderstanding or having a brain overload. Because there is a lot of things going on that has people in overload. But with that said, with the materialistic things has dropped down. I'm pretty sure the sales from Black Friday from compared to last year to now has dropped. Sales of things that wasn't even in Black Friday, cars, homes,
TVs,
clothes, toys, everything has been probably dropped down in the sale projections of last year.
It is.
I say that might be kind of good as we go with time and moving forward with this pandemic. You might have enough stuff in your house already.
That needs to be donated.
Yes. Or your kids, you might just realize that instead of me buying this object just because she wanted or he wanted for Christmas, they ain't going to play with it after 6 months after Christmas.
Right.
You might be able to save a lot of coins in your financial situations and make priorities over the materialistic things that your child might want or even yourself might want. I think all those avenues are kind of in a positive lane because the way society is set up now, currency has your status quo. And the more currency that you have in your accounts or around you, the more you are good in life. But yet to say, in my eyes, it doesn't. I look at things totally different. I pray that people join me on this quest to better yourself, to sit down and go at a slower pace in life, to sit around and be able to see what's going on in your surrounding fields. Like I say, you might be able to do spring cleaning, winter cleaning. Like Queen Summers was saying, you can donate a lot of things to the need. So, materialistic things combined with a lot of related. For instance, I'm saying, like I was just touching up on currency. Currency helps you buy the materialistic things that you want. The way society says, you have to work for the things that you want to attain, that paycheck or currency to get those things that you want.
Materialism that the only thing that can be truly proven to exist is matter. Thus, according to materialism, all things are composed of materia and all phenomena are the result of material interactions with no accounting of spirit or consciousness. As well as a general concept in metaphysics, it is more specifically applied to the mind-body problem in philosophy of mind. Now, philosophy of mind, ladies and gentlemen, is the branch of philosophy that studies the nature of the mind, mental events, mental functions, mental properties, and consciousness, and its relationship to the physical body. It intersects to some extent with the fields of neurobiology, computer science, and psychology.